Ahead on Q2, wild winds, gusts as strong as 100 miles per hour tear through Montana and the area, leaving toppled trees and downed power lines in its wake. We'll have the latest on the weather with Jason Stiff. Plus, moving in.
So the bank is a building next to us, contiguous building. And by law, the district could purchase that building.
School District 2 looks to expand its health care program by purchasing a new spot in downtown Billings. And online safety for children takes center stage in Washington, D.C. as one parent shares the heartbreaking reality she is currently living through. The MTN 430 News starts right now. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. Andrea will be with us at 5:30. I'm Don Hudson. High wind gusts, including some really like hurricane force, wreak havoc across Montana. Now, this was in Big Timber right here, where gusts near 100 miles per hour toppled trees in that area, leaving residents without power for hours. And then here in Billings, the wind showed up a little bit later, but still packed quite a punch. Trees knocked down, covering a road near Senior High School, and power lines laying across the street at other locations, including First Avenue South and 38th. More than 1,000 residents in and around Billings also dealing with power issues because of this weather system. Let's now toss it over to our meteorologist, Jason Stiff, who told us this was coming yesterday and has been tracking it all day long. Jason?
Yes, excessive strong wind for a good portion of the northern Rockies today. Looking at some of the wind gusts that we had, many of them hurricane strength. East Glacier, well to the northwest of us, 101 mile an hour wind gust. Big Timber, 97 miles an hour. We also had an 82 mile an hour gust in Livingston. Harleton, 74 miles an hour. And all the wind gusts that you see on the left side of your screen, these are all hurricane force and above. As you can see, we have many places between 40 and 65 miles an hour all over the region. Now we're going to have a little bit less wind as we go forward late tonight through early tomorrow, but it is going to return, and more chances for some snow are not too far away. That could arrive as early as tomorrow morning. All the details of a complex forecast coming up.
A late night and early morning standoff in Miles City to tell you about. It began with a domestic violence suspect ramming into a deputy's patrol vehicle, and it ends with the man in custody. Now, it all started just before 6 o'clock last night. Law enforcement says that's when the suspect, identified as 45-year-old Joshua Bunk, took off from the scene while armed and hit the patrol car. Authorities found Bunk's vehicle abandoned a short time later, and deputies finally tracked him to a residence in the 2600 block of Layton Boulevard, where he had barricaded himself inside. Now, we're told the standoff began right around 11 o'clock last night, with the Yellowstone County Sheriff's and Billings Police SWAT teams joining that investigation. Bunk surrendered about 3:30 in the morning and was booked into the Custer County Detention Center. The sheriff's deputy, whose car was hit, was checked out at the local hospital and released. The healthcare industry is Montana's largest employer, and it's continuing to grow. About 6,000 job openings are projected between now and 2032. As our Hannah Pettiferi reports, Billings Public Schools are looking to make those numbers mean jobs for our students by expanding the district's healthcare program. This evening, she tells us how they plan on doing that.
Okay, I think the bell's about to ring.
Christine Simonson is about to drop some knowledge.
You can also look at the skeletons.
She's sharing her skills and teaching students about the healthcare industry.
We mentor them to become our future healthcare providers. The little microscope activity I put together, we have a huge shortage of healthcare providers, not just here locally, but also nationwide.
It's why she and others are there to teach the future generation.
We need to start instilling the work ethics, the soft skills, the hard skills in our students. This is just one of the labs here at the Career Center where students are learning the introduction to the operating room. And Superintendent Dr. Garcia says that he knows they can be offering more pathways for these students.
Dentist hygienist, we don't offer that. X-ray technician or behavioral health or other pathways.
With that, School District 2 is now looking to buy the former Rocky Mountain Bank to expand those programs.
What we anticipate is reutilizing the Lincoln Center and turn it back into a school.
And the cost?
Our goal is to impact the taxpayers in the least way possible, meaning that due to the leases that are currently offered at that building, totaling about $35,000, we could actually pay the mortgage, no cost to the taxpayer.
One of those leaseholders is the FBI.
They will continue operating their businesses, their business as usual for them.
And in the long run,
It's creating more space for school without having us to go to the taxpayers, to potentially build another high school.
so Christine's students can have more opportunities.
Walk right across the street or even down the street a couple blocks and have the opportunity to job shadow.
It's a way Billings could soon be answering a national need.
The more classes they take, the more opportunities they're going to have and the more background they're going to have to be successful.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
On Capitol Hill today, a Senate committee heard about predators targeting and manipulating young people online. Tamia Woods testified her 17-year-old son James killed himself after becoming the victim of sextortion. She said in 2022 he shared explicit images of himself with someone who he thought was a girl. He then started receiving messages, 200 of them in less than 20 hours, from anonymous attackers who threatened him, who demanded money, and some even told him to kill himself. Now senators have introduced legislation that would make it a federal crime to coerce children into physically harming themselves, others, or animals. Woods hopes the legislation will encourage young people to speak up, knowing the law is on their side.
I don't care what it is, you speak up, you say something, you stand up for yourself, because we can make sure that we have your back no matter what. I would give anything to have my son back. And if they have to learn, if they have to see James' face, if they have to see my tears, I'm going to make sure that it happens. If it means that I can save your grandchildren, I'm going to do it.
According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they have seen a 192% increase in reports concerning online enticement, a 200% increase in reports relating to sadistic online exploitation, and a 1,300% increase in reports involving generative artificial intelligence. President Trump is headed to Pennsylvania to deliver a speech about the economy and affordability. The president, who last week called affordability concerns a Democratic hoax, says the real reason for continued high prices is due to the inflation that actually happened under the Biden administration. This comes after the White House announced a $12 billion bailout for farmers impacted by President Trump's tariff policies. Erica Brown has more from Washington.
President Trump is expected to address the key issue of affordability, a growing concern for Americans, at a rally Tuesday in Pennsylvania. The president's trip comes as many Americans face economic uncertainties and struggle with higher prices. At the White House Monday, Trump unveiled a $12 billion aid package for farmers impacted by his tariff policy and placed blame on the Biden administration for higher prices.
We brought prices way down from what it was. We inherited high prices. We inherited the biggest inflation in the history of our country. That means prices going up, and we brought it down very substantially.
CBS News polling shows most Americans disapprove of the president's handling of the economy, but the White House maintains inflation has gone down and Americans will see lower prices.
Affordability has two components. There's inflation, and then there's real incomes. Real incomes are up about 1%. And what we're not going to do is say that Americans don't know what they're feeling. We've been working on it every day.
The president says consumers will soon feel some relief with lower prices for vehicles after a rollback of fuel efficiency standards and deals to cut prices on certain prescription drugs. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
President Trump says that the European Union is a decaying group of nations led by weak people. Meanwhile, a European Commission spokesperson says it's proud of the leadership in Brussels and leaders of member nations. William Denzelo reports from Brussels.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky's whistle-stop tour of several European capitals has continued on Tuesday. He is in Italy as part of a effort to ensure that Europe remains united behind Kiev as efforts continue to find a peace plan with Russia. This is a core tenet of what Donald Trump is trying to achieve in the U.S. administration. Now, we've heard from Donald Trump, who says that Russia currently has the upper hand and that the onus is on President Zelensky to play ball. Ukraine is reportedly working up its own peace proposals, and Zelensky has again reiterated that Ukraine is not prepared to give up any kind of territory as part of a peace plan as it stands. Now, Donald Trump, in an interview with Politico, had some sharp words for European leaders. He said on the issue of Ukraine, they're all talk, very little of substance. He also had a broader criticism, saying that it is a decaying group led by weak people who are weak and led by political correctness. This comes just days after a national security strategy accused Europe of civilizational erasure. In response, we've heard from a spokesperson for the European Commission. They say that they are proud of the leaders here in Europe, both in Brussels and across the EU. William Denslow, Scripps News Group, Brussels.